The morning sun baked the busy streets of Tokyo in gold. Trains rattled, businessmen hurried by, and street vendors called out with cheerful voices. Among them stood a small girl named Amara, her faded gray dress fluttering in the soft breeze, a red scarf tied neatly around her head. In her hands, she carried a wicker basket filled with homemade chocolates, each one wrapped with trembling care, the last thing her sick mother had taught her to make. Now, Amara sold them alone to pay for her mother's medicine. Every day, she positioned herself outside one of the city's grandest restaurants, where luxury cars sparkled and laughter from Tokyo's elite spilled onto the streets. Her shoes were worn thin, but her eyes held something rare, hope that refused to fade. Before we continue, take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to HOA Chronicles, because stories like these remind us that kindness, courage, and second chances still exist. That afternoon, Amara's stomach rumbled, but she ignored it. She gathered her courage and stepped inside the restaurant. The chatter went silent. A poor child in a place meant for the rich. Forks paused midair. A ripple of laughter followed. At the center table sat Mr. William Cato, a wealthy investor whose arrogance was as sharp as his suit. His friends laughed as Amara timidly bowed and whispered, "Would you like to buy some chocolates, sir?" William smirked. "Chocolates? You think I'd buy those?" The men chuckled. But one among them, younger, quieter, looked uneasy. Then, with a mocking grin, William leaned forward. "I'll tell you what," he said. "If you can sell me those chocolates in perfect Japanese, I'll give you $1 million." The room burst into laughter. To them, it was entertainment. But Almara didn't laugh. Her heart thudded in her chest, not from fear, but determination. You see, Almara wasn't Japanese. She was a Filipino migrant child, barely surviving in Tokyo with her ailing mother. Her Japanese was broken, just enough to survive each day. Her cheeks flushed with embarrassment, but she lifted her chin. "Sir," she said softly, "my Japanese isn't perfect, but my mother taught me to speak with respect and sincerity." William sneered. "Respect doesn't make you rich, sweetheart." His words cut deep. She turned to leave, tears threatening to spill, but her mother's words echoed in her heart. Even the smallest seed grows in the hardest soil. Almara turned back. Her voice trembled, but she spoke in broken Japanese. "Watashi, Akarama Mason, I will not give up." The restaurant went quiet. Her accent was flawed, but her courage was flawless. Even William paused, the laughter fading from his lips. Then, with a dismissive wave, he said, "Not good enough, kid." Almara bowed politely. "Thank you for listening, sir," she whispered, and walked out. That night, she sat by her mother's hospital bed. Her mother's voice was faint. "Did you sell anything today?" Amara smiled weakly. "Not today, Mama, but I will tomorrow." Days passed. Amara practiced her Japanese late into the night, repeating words until her throat ached. Kind strangers corrected her gently, encouraging her. And slowly, the little girl who once stumbled over her words began to speak fluently, with grace, pride, and confidence. Months later, the same luxury car stopped in front of that restaurant. Out stepped Mr. Cato, his once proud face now quiet, thoughtful. He froze when he saw her. Amara bowed. "Good afternoon, sir. Would you like to buy some chocolates?" she asked, in flawless Japanese. William's eyes widened. The same little girl, now speaking perfectly. Her tone wasn't desperate anymore. It was strong, steady. For the first time, he felt ashamed. Without a word, he pulled out his checkbook, scribbled a figure, and handed it to her. Amara gasped, $1 million. William's voice was quiet. "I made a promise," he said, "and you kept yours. You earned this." Tears streamed down her face as she whispered, "Thank you, sir. My mother will live." He smiled faintly. "You taught me something today. Money builds walls, but courage breaks them." News of the encounter spread quickly. People across Tokyo began sharing her story, the girl whose determination melted a millionaire's heart. Donations flooded in. Her mother recovered. A year later, They opened a small chocolate shop named Kibu, meaning hope. The walls were filled with notes from people inspired by her journey. And every weekend, William Cato visited quietly, sitting in the corner, watching children laugh as they enjoyed Amara's chocolates. The same laughter that once mocked her now filled her world with warmth. And that, dear viewers, is how one act of compassion, one moment of courage, can rewrite destiny. If Amara's story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to HO Chronicles. Because sometimes, the smallest voices speak the loudest truths, and hope is a language everyone understands.